Welcome to my first YouTube video. You're going to be like, WTF is with his 2016 MLG voice? I am just too lazy to get a new one, so deal with it. BTW, this is entitled parents, so enjoy the video. Number 1. You must be American to be a Boy Scout. Info: I have been a Boy Scout for a year and a half and have gotten first class a few months ago, and I decide to get some community service added. So I volunteer for my old elementary school's carnival. Enormous shit. SK. Shamed kid T1 teacher 1 T2. Teacher 2. I'm manning a cheesy beanbag toss game at the carnival and my shift just begun as I help some kid toss the beanbags in. When M comes through shoving 2 other kids out of the way, tugging a 9 years old. She looked like her average Karen with a weight problem. I stop her and, me, ma'am, could you please wait your turn and get in line? M, how dare you tell me what to do? Me, you pushed 2 kids out of line. To be first, that's not polite, please just get in line. M, you can't tell me you're not a Boy Scout. Where's your proof? Me, I have been a scout for a year and a half and have achieved first class. M, you're Asian, you can't be one, only Americans can be. Me, please just get in line and wait patiently so we can not ruin today. M, you're the one ruining my day. You're a fraud. You probably bought that uniform online. M proceeds to start grabbing my uniform and trying to rip some of the patches off. Luckily SK came back with 2 teachers while I was dealing with this doucher bag and pried her fat fingers off. T1, is there a problem here? M proceeds to cut me off and starts into a full-on rant on how I wasn't a Boy Scout and how I shouldn't allowed here, while I apologize to the line of kids and continue the game. And in a few minutes she notices that I'm not paying attention to her BS talk and shoves me over. M, you kids these days don't listen to adults. How disrespectful. By now I had lost it. You know how Boy Scouts have a oath. Well, I was done with that. Me, listen here miss, you are the one that's being disrespectful. You come to my booth and instantly start to complain and whine about Hoss manning it. You can't just shut it and enjoy the day. M starts to scream and claw at me, but was dragged away by the 2 teacher. Don't tell me how, followed by SK. I honestly feel bad for that kid. Good kid, bad parent. Well, thanks for reading this, just wanted to get this out there. So some fat ass just ran up to a kid and said, you're not American, you're Asian, not a Boy Scout, and Asians are not the same as Boy Scouts. Man, she is a dumbass. Number 2. Entitled dad thinks it's totally fine that his 10-year-old son just blinded a 3-year-old girl. So this is a story of how I lost all vision in my left eye. I was thinking about it recently as I was talking to my husband about my eye patch and how it went with our son's Peter Pan themed nursery. I'm not going to post about pictures for privacy reasons. A girl with an eye patch tends to stand out, and I don't know y'all. Anyway, on with the story. Cast: me, 3-year-old girl just living her life. Ed, entitled Demon Egg, entitled Dog Boy Dad. My dad, this happened when I was 3 years old. My dad was taking me to the park while my mom was out shopping. I had just gotten a new purse from my aunt and had filled it with coins. It was a small purse, so there couldn't have been more than $2 or $3 in it. So I went over to the sand pit next to the gravel area where the play structure was and started counting my coins. Enter Ek was about 10, but he looked like a giant to me at the time. He stood over me for a second before I looked up at him. Ek, Jim, the money. Me, oh, it's my money. I keep it in my purse. I showed him the purse and he snatched it from me. Then proceeded to pick up the coins along with handfuls of sand and put it in my purse before turning and walking about. As 3-year-olds do, I started wailing and my dad ran over to me. Dad, what's wrong, Popsicle? Real life nickname inspired my username, lol. Me, he stole my monies in my purse. I pointed to X sitting on a bench next to Edition. My dad took my hand and we walked over to them. Dad to Ed, excuse me? You son took that purse from my daughter and her coins. She's really like it back. Say please, Popsicle. Me, please. Ed and Egg just scoff. Ed, you mean this bag? He held up my purse and shook it. I heard the sound of my coins inside me. Yes sir, I'm Southern lol. Ed laughed and threw my purse over our heads, and it landed in the gravel. Fetch. I ran over to the gravel without a second thought, and kneeled down to pick it up, and make sure all of my coins were there. When all of a sudden I feel someone grab my hair. Before I could even yelp in pain, my face was being squished into the gravel. I found out later that it was Ek. He kept slamming my head down into the gravel and shaking it when it was down. By the time Ek got pushed off of me, I was in total shock. I turned to face my dad, who was kneeling next to me, and he just looked horrified before getting his phone out and calling the cops. He picked me up and ran me to the bathroom to wait for them. According to my dad, my face was covered in blood and I had cuts and scraps everywhere. He did his best to stay calm, but he said that my eye was so bad looking that he couldn't look at me. I remember bits and pieces like that. I wasn't yelling. I was in complete shock. I remember that blinking stung really badly and that I was crying, but not intentionally. The police came with an ambulance and I was taken into it while my dad talked to the police. Dad said that Ed was trying to say that Ek didn't mean to and that it was an accident. But after my dad told the cops that after Ed told me to fetch, he told Ek to sick him, Ed didn't even deny that part, saying that it was part of the game. Dad said that Ek had even growled before chasing after me. He actually growled. Ed was arrested and Ek went with him. My dad preached charges and told Ed that he would be paying for my medicine bills. We got to the hospital and the doctors informed us that my left eye must have been open when I hit the gravel. Because it was so scratched up, there wasn't anything he could do. I'm not going to go into details about what they ended up having to do with my eye because gross. But now I wear an eye patch, and despite about the bullying and the teasing I received, I got my purse and coins back. And that's all that matters. Edit. For those asking what happened to Ed and Ek, they ended up settling out of court for the cost of the medical bills and a bit more, as well as some parenting classes for addition. Ek pretty much got a slap on the wrist. The kid just pushed her onto the gravel. It cut her eye open and her dad was standing there watching. What a great parent. Number 1, dad here. Number 3. M demands my drink for her kid. Gets mad when she finds out I spoke the truth about it being alcoholic. Now, for a bit of context, last weekend was Liberation Day in Holland, and many cities were having festivals to celebrate. Most of these festivals have free entrance, so they tend to crack down on people bringing their own food and drinks to increase profits from beverage sales. Mate of mine lives within the area where the festival is taking place though, so usually we drop our booze at his place and retrieve it during the festival. Since it didn't seem like a terrific idea to walk around with a bottle of JD, I mixed it into a 1L Coca-Cola vanilla bottle with just enough Coke that it looked like Coke and went onto the festival grounds. I'm assuming everybody is familiar with the common abbreviations. JD is my good friend Jack Daniels. We've been through a lot together. While walking around with the bottle of Coke, I feel a tap on my shoulder. Festival etiquette is to move over to the side to let somebody pass, after which I move along. I suddenly feel a hand grabbing my shoulder and trying to pull me back, so I turn around, and I'm faced with a typical Karen. Where'd you get that? Pointing at the bottle. Me, brought it from home. Can my kid have some? Me, not wanting everybody to know I had booze on me. They sell Coke over there. You can buy your kid a fresh, cold one. They don't sell vanilla Coke there, and he doesn't like the regular one. He wants yours. Holds out hand. Me, if he doesn't like the regular one, I'm pretty sure he won't like this any better. Meanwhile, the kid has started squealing about how he's thirsty and wants that one, and M starts giving me a demanding stare. Me, okay lady, I'm going to be honest with you. Half of this bottle is whiskey, and I don't think it's a good idea to give the kid whiskey. You're lying. You just made that up, so you wouldn't have to share with my baby. Now give it to me. While I kinda shrug and turn away in attempt to disappear into the crowd, the kid grabs the bottle with both hands, wrenches it from my hand, and makes a run for it, his mom in tow. I follow them, and I find them just in time to see the kid take a few massive swigs from the bottle, after which he starts violently throwing up almost immediately. Figuring the best move for me would be to not further pursue the now vomit covered bottle of Jack and Coke, I decide to head over to my mates and mix a new one. In passing, I throw Emma told you, and make my way into the crowds. Within seconds, M charges me and starts attempting to take a swing at me. You poisoned my baby. Security. We are separated by bystanders, and a stall holder gets security, which questions both me and M. He gave my baby this bottle of poison, and told him it was Coke. I want him arrested. Sir, what's in this bottle? Me, a premixed whiskey and Coke, somewhat on the generous side with the whiskey. And why did you give that to a kid? Me, I didn't, sir. I was mostly planning on getting smashed myself, to be fair. They thought it was Coke, wouldn't believe me when I told them it was booze, and snatched the bottle from me. What you're seeing here is just the result of the kid taking a drink before I was able to stop him. At this point, a bystander chimes in, confirming that he saw the kid snatch the bottle from my hand, although he hadn't heard the conversation. Security tells the mom to not pull that shit again, to take her still crying kid to the first aid post, and instructs me to be more careful with the next batch I'm inevitably about to make. You could just spit in it in front of the yelling turd. Problem solved. If you liked the video, sub and like, and I will hand deliver a pizza sized cookie to you. Now leave, see you later.
Reach for the stars 'cause we're aiming high.